All right, welcome back to another episode of the Great Area Podcast. I'm your host, the Mchezo Bwana, here with my co-host TJ. What's going on, TJ?
Not much, man. How you been?
All right, and today you said you wanted to talk about religion, right?
Yeah, let's talk about religion, man. I really want to see how everybody says they're religious or, whatever. I want to see how much these people actually follow this shit. You know,
So when I think of religion, I think of it's a set of habits, rituals, and behaviors and beliefs that a person claims they have in order to gain favor with the creator. So some people,
sure.
you know,
Okay. Okay.
they
Yeah,
have
that's
a
one way. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, they have the
yeah.
document that they say they follow, and whether or not they've actually read their book is another subject altogether, also, because a lot of times those people haven't. And a lot of times religion is something that's passed down.
Well, let
So,
me ask you something.
go ahead.
Are you a particularly religious person?
I guess I am, but I'm not religious to the point where I'm Christian, Muslim, Jewish, or anything like that. But I do,
Religion, religion is a different thing, right? Religion is like, so people who are like, hey, this is how we believe in God. This is how we're going to do it. That's religion. Doesn't
okay.
necessarily mean that you don't believe in a higher power. So let me ask you this: do you believe in a higher power?
I would say yes, but I don't even think you need to believe in a higher power because we are here, we exist. So, to me, life is God. So whether there's a
Right,
God,
you're a humanist.
yeah,
Yeah,
whether there's a God in
you're
the
mostly a
sky
humanist.
and all that stuff, I don't
Sure,
know. But we for
sure.
sure there's a creator because we exist.
So so the reason I wanted to bring it up is you get a lot of people who are atheists, for example, and that's cool. Like whatever, it's all cool with me as long as people believe in other people. They're like, hey man, this shit ain't right. We're talking about George Floyd, for example, last week. Um, this shit ain't right. Whatever. It doesn't matter what religion you are. You need to know that, that shit ain't right, right? So, and doesn't need to take God or anything to tell you that, right? You believe in other human beings. And most of the religions they teach the same thing. They teach love thy neighbor, basically. I don't care if you're Muslim, Jew, whatever. They teach the same shit. They're all like, hey man, just be good to your neighbor. Just
Yeah,
be
I
good to
mean,
each
I
other,
agree with
love each
that.
other.
But a lot of people use the religion to oppress people, and they use it as a mask to get away with doing nefarious things. So that's why we have a lot
I
of
agree.
conflict.
I agree, and that's where religion comes into it rather than belief, right? So, and I don't know, like you could be the world's worst atheist in the world, but you still love your neighbor. You
Right,
can still be good to your fellow human being. You're probably being a better Christian than an actual Christian.
right. And you can be a Christian or you can be a Muslim or Jew and hate people and be the worst.
Right,
You
exactly.
know, it's really
Exactly.
just a claim. All that religious stuff is really just a claim anyway. Um, like I
It's like,
said,
what club am I going to be in? I
right,
believe in
right.
Muhammad.
There's a you
I'm going to
can't
be in this club.
if you look at the story of Moses, Moses was raised Egyptian and then he was Hebrew. So he still had the
Right,
same creator regardless. He just decided to adopt a different set of habits, rituals, and beliefs in order to gain favor with the creator. We can't I can't have a brother and he be Muslim and me be Christian and there be a separate creator if we came from the same woman. So
right.
it's really about how we feel or what we feel we need to do in order to gain favor with the creator. And all that
Well,
other
and the funniest
stuff
thing,
is people trying to tell people what to do, and simple mindedness basically, and trying to use it as
right,
a tool
right.
of oppression.
Well, and that's what the funniest thing is. To me in the world, the funniest thing in the world is like, all right, so the greatest Christians in existence that actually follow it better than most Christians are Buddhists, right? They're just all about love. They want everybody to get along. They don't want to hurt anybody. They just want everybody to just live and let live, right? But if you talk to certain types of Christians, they're like, well, they don't believe in Jesus. No, they don't believe in Jesus. They're just doing their own thing, They're definitely living what Jesus taught, right? Well, they're going to go to hell. Well, why would they?
Right. Who are you to
Like,
say you never been there? Another thing is they can't even produce Jesus. If Jesus is this great God, they can't produce him on the spot. If I say I have doubts because we've been lied to, could you please produce Jesus on the spot? They can't do it. They're gonna make an excuse. That's not to say
so
that
me,
Jesus never existed, because just because see this is the other thing. So whether or not Jesus existed is irrelevant in the sense that his spirit still has power and can be used for
well,
good.
exactly. Well, exactly. Well, and his teachings have power.
Right.
Whether he existed or not. Like when I go to church, I go for the message. That's what I go for. I go for the message. Every time I go to church, I get something out of it, right? But I'm also a Buddhist in the sense that, I meditate and, there are some Buddhists that have like, a bunch of different gods and, things like that. I don't. I have my one God. My one God is God.
Is it a bunch of
As
different gods, or is it just different worshiping different aspects of basically creation? Because a lot of
in
times,
Buddhism, in
yeah,
Buddhism, they actually they do have different gods. It's kind of like Hinduism. Like there actually are different gods, but the way I look at things is me personally. I look at Jesus. I look at Jesus, the way he taught, and I look at Siddhartha Gautama, Buddha, the way he taught. And they all taught the same stuff. So they did in Judaism. So they did in um, so did Muhammad. Same thing. It's just love thy neighbor. They all have their own commandments, whatever you want to call them, right? Not to make it too complex and go through the whole thing, but yeah, all they said was be good to your fellow man. That's it.
yeah. The thing is with religion, a lot of times it teaches you discipline, and a lot of times it's very difficult to be disciplined. So even if a person has the intentions on doing it, see, a lot of people can even think that they're good Christians or good Muslims or good whatever, but the reality is you show that in your action. So you have a lot of
Well, what
these.
are you personally? May I ask? Like, what are you personally?
I'm just a human.
You don't claim
You
anything
know
really.
what I'm saying? I'm just a human. I'm a real human. You know what I'm saying? I'm just a human.
So, what
I
do you
don't claim
believe in?
anything.
So,
What do I believe in? I believe that God is life because I can. I mean, that's see, the thing is, like I said, with the whole Jesus thing. So
okay.
Santa Claus might not be real. There might not be a God in the North Pole, but the spirit of Santa Claus, the Christmas spirit, that's for sure real because I've actually seen the Christmas spirit um working. I've actually witnessed it, and I've
Yeah,
actually
for real. Yeah,
I've
yeah, you're
actually
exactly right.
had the Christmas spirit work through me. So, like I said,
Right.
but people use this as far as Jesus as a lot of people use Jesus to hide behind because Jesus right now Jesus would be out there rioting if he's seen, in my opinion, from what I've seen from some of the statements and what they say he did, he would be out there rioting and working against evil because, like I said, those are just the stories they told, and they said he I guess he had an incident where he flipped over the table and was getting kind of rowdy.
No, it was yeah. So what it was he was at the temple. He was at the temple. Jesus was a Jew, so he was at the temple, and people are like selling stuff, and people are like doing things that he really shouldn't have been doing, in a holy place. So he flipped the table. He told all these people. He was like, "Whoa, what are you doing? Like, what's going on here? Like, why are you doing this? Whatever. Like, this is a holy place. Whatever." And like, he got mad about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jesus
So
did not. He did not like exist to create Christianity. He just wanted people to follow his example. So when people decided they were going to follow his example, they became quote unquote Christians. Now there's a thousand different kinds of Christians. You
Right.
got people that
Right.
handle snakes. You got Baptists, and that's what religion does. Like, well, we feel this way, so this is our club. We're still Christians, but this is our club.
It's a
We're
way
the ones
to,
that handle
yeah,
things.
it's a way to point the finger at people. Like I said, it's a tool to oppress. And
Right,
really,
exactly.
a lot of it, and it's something to hide behind. It's something that cowards hide behind. It's something that greedy people hide behind. But at the end of the day, a lot of people, how I know they're not really Christians or whatever they say they are, is because they don't do as Jesus does, and they're not afraid to die for the truth and to actually do God's
No,
work. See, they don't want
no,
to really
you're
do
absolutely
God's
right.
work.
Yes, sir. You're absolutely right. And that's one of the things. Like the thing, I keep telling people this, and they get mad at me. And I'm like, the best Christians in the world are Buddhists because they try not to hurt shit. Everything's God's creature. Like if they're making a new building, they try not to kill the worms.
Well,
This,
like I
that, and the
said,
third.
the thing is, it takes discipline to actually do what the things say in those books. And a lot of times we're dealing with emotional people that don't like to take responsibility for their actions. So, what they're going to do, if you don't take responsibility for actions, you're going to deflect and start making excuses. And a lot of times the excuse is going to be somebody else. So,
Well, the other thing that kills me about religion, because I'm not a religious person, right? I do believe in Jesus. I do, follow Buddhism. You know, um, but one thing about religion, anytime you mention religion, I mean, you have Lutherans, you have Catholics, you have Baptists. Basically they're all just clubs, right? There's clubs, and the one thing I really do not agree with is, oh, you don't believe in Jesus? Well, you're going to hell, brother. Um, why? Why? Am I doing what Jesus taught better
did
than
Jesus
you are?
even, yeah, did Jesus even say you were going to jail if you're going to hell if you don't believe in
Right,
Jesus?
exactly.
So people just
Exactly.
make stuff up. That's what I'm saying. People really just make this stuff up. Another thing, like I said,
Yeah.
most people, when I've talked to a lot of people, one time I was at work and the conversation came up about death. There's a lot of people that are afraid of death. So religion is also like one of those things that kind of helps you cope with life
Sure.
because
Absolutely.
a lot of people are really, they're really afraid of death and they really do have doubt. See, that's the thing. They claim to be this and that, but they have doubt, and the doubt shows up in their actions. You don't hear a lot of these evangelical Christians, well, you don't hear a lot of these evangelical Christians speak out against racism. You pretty much never
Right.
hear it. So obviously,
Right.
silence is compliance. So I don't need somebody to admit something. If I look at their words and then their actions, if it don't match up, then I know what it is. So obviously they with it. They with white supremacy. I don't need some missionary. Yeah, think about how insulting it is when you have these missionaries going over to different places. That's why they use it as oppression. They go over to different places and say, "Hey, I'm going to go to this place in Africa where the first humans were, the people that originated religion in the first place, as far
Right.
as
I'm going to become
Christianity."
Christian now.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Like, hell, who are you to tell me you can't even produce this guy? I mean, it's really a lot of people are sick. You know what it is? Like pedophiles. What I think I know about like sick people, they try to get around.
Hold on. Hold on. Slow it down. So we're on pedophiles now.
No, I'm just giving you an example. When you get these
Okay.
people that are missionaries and they try to come around and act like they trying to do good, when really they really just trying to oppress. They have nothing better to do. They basically sick and they basically trying to be contagious with a mental sickness. And I said like with
I have to.
pedophiles, well, I was gonna say with pedophiles, sometimes pedophiles be a coach of a girls basketball team or a coach of a boys basketball team so they can get close to their victims basically. And that's a lot of what they're doing
Well,
when they go and be
no, I understand where you're
missionaries.
coming from.
Who are you to
Like
tell
a
somebody
lot.
about God when you can't produce God? If somebody asks you to, it's going to be an excuse. If you ask somebody to produce God, you're going to get them speaking for God or making up an excuse.
Well, I'm going to give you a good example. I think. A really good friend of mine, man. He's Congolese, right? He's born in America, and his parents came over here from the Congo. right? They were both professors, right? Why does this motherfucker speak French, right? He
Yeah.
speaks French because they're oppressed by the French. People came down there, missionaries, things like that, and then it became, something totally different. King Leopold from Belgium, came down there, and
Yeah.
imposed his will. Right? Yeah, just imposing your will, like imposing your religion. There was the whole, there were the Crusades, for God's sakes. You know, they were like, man, we're gonna rid the world of Muslims. Like, well, how about live and let live, be and let be? And that's why I think, religion, personally, like the thought I will say on religion, it's good for a lot of people. It really is. It keeps a lot of people in line. It keeps a lot of people like, you know, having faith. And faith is a wonderful, beautiful thing. It really is. But religion is a horrible
Well, religion is horrible if they don't actually do what they say they are gonna do. But
Well,
you know
well,
what?
religion is a club. That's
Yeah,
what it
it's a
keeps being.
club.
It's like,
I can go with
yeah,
that.
it's
Yeah.
a club. Yeah, I belong to this. Like I said, 50, 100, however many it is, different types of Christianity, religion, and it's a club. It's like we believe this way, we believe this way, we believe this way. It's like, whoa,
Yeah.
why can't the individual just, take a
Right.
step back and believe,
Right.
yeah, I believe
Because
this.
their belief is tied to their self-confidence. Another thing, one of the evil things about racism that happened is that it calls people to doubt the creator. Because if you acknowledge, well, why do I speak French? Because the French came over here and conquered the Congo. Well, now I have to question other things. Why do we have the same God? You know, and then
And we should question, and I absolutely believe we should question. And even though I'm a man of faith, like I believe in God, I believe in a creator, and from what you told me, you do too, right? So, people who are atheists and things of that nature, I really don't care what you are, as long as you teach or you treat your fellow human beings
yeah,
well.
but you can be an atheist and treat people good, and you can be a religious person and treat people good, or
Yeah,
vice versa.
you don't have to believe in
Which is
Jesus to
most of
be a
the
good person.
case. A lot of these people with the Confederate flags that are white supremacists that are racist that are in the Klan, they claim to be Christian, but maybe their definition of Christian is different. That's the other thing. Maybe you need to actually ask them, what does it really mean? And are you actually doing that? If you can honestly answer that.
Right.
See, a
So,
lot of people can't be honest with
well,
themselves anyway.
yeah. Well, let's get personal real quick. Do you pray every day?
I mean, I don't know if I pray every day, but I mean, you know what I'm saying? Do you pray every day?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But
So who do you
but
pray to?
it's in a different kind of way. But then that's
So
the
who do
whole
you
thing.
so who do you pray to?
Is like who I actually pray to is like I just ask the universe. I just say universe,
Oh, there you go then.
right? Like
There you go.
I just say universe. Please give me the strength to do this, this, that, or third today. Whatever. Give me the strength to get through the day. Help me be a good person today. Stuff like that. And I think a lot of people, like when it comes to religion, they think like, oh, I can pray for God to fix my car. No, you can't.
Oh, you
It's called
could.
a
I
prayer.
guess you could. You could. God, give me the strength
You
to
know what
come
I'm
up with
saying?
a solution to fix my car. See, I think all that is well and dandy, but you have to put in work also. You can't just you can't just sit around and not do anything though. You know what I'm saying? You
No, I
got
believe in this. Oprah said this once, man, and I think it's the greatest, one of the greatest quotes I've ever heard. Oprah said this. She goes, "Work like everything depends on you. Pray like everything depends on God."
right, right. It's energy,
And that's
right?
it.
They say energy can't be created or destroyed. It just is. So if you look at an incense, right? If you burn the incense, you notice the incense starts to take smoke form.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if you look at
Hmm.
water,
Yeah.
water is always recycling. It goes, it's it's a cloud,
You know, it could
it's
be
vapor,
steam, it could be
it's
made
water.
ice, yeah,
Right,
whatever.
right, all right. So I mean, it's obviously energy, but that energy has to work through you. But in my book, The Wisest Wisdom, 300 Quotes for Life, everybody should go get that. But in that book, 159, 159 is if you fall into a pit, you can start praying and wait, or you can pray and start climbing. See, it's energy,
Brain start climbing.
right?
Brain start climbing.
That's the one thing you
And
do know
you
is
know,
it
maybe
is
God will help you,
energy.
maybe you won't, but you know, you don't sit there on your ass just like, oh, you know, God will get this.
Things will work in your favor if you just take action and do have faith, because it does
Well,
start
I
with
mean,
faith. I think we all got here
well,
because of faith.
here's here's also my theory is like when you pray and you ask for strength and you know things like that. Let's pretend God doesn't exist. Let's pretend there is no God. Okay, pretend God does not exist. He's nowhere to be found. You know, whatever. But you know, just saying that, pretending that He is there, telling yourself to give you the strength to be able to do something, you're going to be able to do it as long as you put your mind to it. You know, as long as you put your nose at the grindstone, you just fucking do it,
Yeah, that's the energy.
right? Yeah,
Some people
energy.
call it
Yeah,
some people call it higher intelligence, but it's definitely, I mean, regardless, if you see, the whole thing is when you believed in Santa Claus, Santa Claus was real, and you were able to access. I don't want to get too deep here, but you were able to access um certain things. But then, as soon as you didn't believe in it, you weren't able to access that anymore. And the same thing comes with belief. See, that's what the power of belief is. If you, even if you say, "Oh, I don't believe in God," but if you continue to, pump yourself up, good things can happen. But
yeah,
there
and
are governors on this planet though, and in this universe, and
mm-hmm.
there are universal
Great,
laws.
great,
So
great. The one thing I really did want to touch on when I talked about religion, and it really, and this is the only thing about religion that upsets me. Like, I really think it's good for most people, but most people like they follow it to the T. You know, like so you have what are the ones that what was Prince? Prince was
he was a Jehovah Witness.
Jehovah Witness. You know, Jehovah Witnesses they believe only 144,000 got to get home, right? You know, only
They believe what?
144,000. They believe only 144,000 people are going to make it to heaven,
Oh well, I
right?
mean,
I mean, and out of all these people on the planet, like literally, I mean, you know, there's like 5 million Jehovah's Witnesses. There's
yeah.
going to be a lot of disappointed Jehovah's Witnesses.
I found this
Like
a
when
waste
you,
of time to even argue with people over religion because it's such a strong belief, and
it is. No, no,
and
you're
and
absolutely
like I
right.
said,
But
their
let me finish the
confidence
point. Hold on,
is tied to that. Go
hold on.
ahead.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And like, you know, I'm just using Jehovah's Witnesses as an example. And like, guys, you know, honestly, if anybody's listening to this podcast, like, you know, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to, you know, be a jerk about it, but you know, so Jehovah's Witnesses, for example, from what I understand, 144,000 going to go home, right? Now they're Christian, right? You know who else is a Christian? Mormons. Mormons are Christians. You know, they believe a whole different set of shit. You know, Catholics, Christians, whole different set of shit. You know, Lutherans, Baptists, you know, all that stuff. Just your religion, like when you try to put people in a box like that, it's a whole different set of shit.
Yeah,
Now, all you have to do, like, if you believe in Jesus, for example, all you have to do, be nice to your fellow man. That's it.
well, they
That's
don't really believe
literally
in
it.
Jesus. That's the thing. Like I said, a lot of people don't really believe what they claim,
No, I agree with you.
and
You know, and
that's part of the
I
issue.
think that's what threw off a lot of people who are atheists. They're like, no, this dude told me I had to believe in Jesus to go to heaven. No, you don't, man. Just be nice to the guy next to you on the fucking airplane. That's all you have to do. I
Yeah,
mean,
some
it's
people don't
really
like
like,
that. Some people don't like to do that because some people have internal issues what are actually miserable, and they project that miserable attitude on the other people.
that's true, man. That's true, and
You
I
know?
think I think
I mean, you
I
have you have
personally,
you have preachers that are, you look at the Catholic Church, you have the priests that were molesting kids, but they say we love God. So obviously people use it as a cover. Like I say, most people, in my experience, when I talk to people, are afraid of death, and that makes me believe that they don't really believe what they claim they believe because
well, I exactly. So one of the things I believe in, we talk about this a lot. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's race. I don't care if it's religion. Whatever it is most of us are like nose to bark on a tree, and we can't see the forest, right? But if you take a step back, you're like, oh fuck, yeah, I've been looking at this the wrong way. And that's why, I like talking to you because like we, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you're wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Like I really don't give a shit if I'm wrong. Like it's
yeah,
not gonna hurt my feelings.
yeah, just
I'm
I
sitting here
rather
trying to
just
learn.
yeah, I rather just try to learn and improve. It's gonna make me improve, then that's it is what it is. Sometimes it's rough. You have to swallow bitter truths, but we all get better
Right.
from it at the end anyway. The thing is with the whole God thing, I'm not into telling people um what to believe. It's up to them. I know it can be confusing and we're all just trying to find our way. So, you know,
So no, I totally agree. So like, let's clarify our both beliefs. Like my personal belief is that I believe in a higher power. I don't know if it's God, I don't know if it's Jesus, I don't know if it's Vishnu, like I don't know who it is. But I know like, I feel better praying to it, right? I feel better that, I think there was some kind of creator out there. What about you?
yeah, I mean, I don't really necessarily get into belief. I try to go with understanding. I only
Mm.
get into belief when I have little understanding of something. But like I said,
Well, it's something you'll never understand that.
I know, I understand that. Yeah, I understand that. I mean, there's things that I don't know, and there's things that none of us know. But I'm just
Right.
saying that, when it comes to a creator, I think that's pretty self-explanatory. We have to have some kind of creator, whether it was a human that lives in the sky and has a beard and is a giant or whatever. I don't know. So I won't even say yay or nay. But the fact that
Okay.
we are here, we
So I'm just
exist.
asking what you personally do. Like,
That's what I just
so,
let you know
so,
right there.
okay. All right. All right. Yeah, and that's why I want to talk about it because like I feel like a lot of people when they talk about religion or it's either right or wrong, it's either black or white, and I'm like, no, it's not.
It's been times
It's not black
where
and white.
I believed, I didn't, had more understanding. So things are always changing when you have new and better knowledge and information. Um,
Right.
so that's why I stand on that. There's all kind of stuff going on out here that most people don't even realize. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it's a lot of
No, no,
stuff.
dude, I totally understand. I don't know what's
We
going on in the
got
black
we got a
community.
lot of.
I've
I'm
heard
not even
some
just talking about the
fucking
black community. I'm just talking about period for on this planet in this universe.
oh yeah, yeah,
Period.
yeah. Like
There's so
there's
much
things
stuff.
we don't understand.
Right.
It's like yeah, why you want to hand it to this person, that person, or this god, this entity here, whatever. It's just like, hey man, and that's one thing I like about this podcast, man, is we're we're just here to understand, man. I'm just
Right.
talking to my dude.
A lot of people use Jesus as like I said, they hide behind Jesus. Another reason is to not take responsibility. Like I said, a lot of cowards hide behind Jesus because they put Jesus out there to not actually have to do something. You know,
That's one thing I was going to say about religion. That's what really, really kind of upsets me. Is like, a lot of people who are so-called Christians, like, I really don't feel like they're really living the message. I don't think they're living the message, and they just want to tell people, hey, I go to church every Sunday.
yeah,
I'm the
it's a
man.
mask. I know people.
It is a mask.
I had a
It's
friend
perfect, perfect,
I had a friend
perfect.
tell me he didn't really believe in Christianity and that basically he thought this was it. But yeah, he goes to church. So I mean, what kind of person does that?
Well, I do that. I do that. I go there to get the message. There's always a message. If you really try to listen to the message, there's always something good there, right? But if
Right.
someone
So it's
tells
like
me like,
motivational speaking. That's why I look at a preacher
yeah,
as
basically,
a
I
motivational
mean,
speaking.
if you want to,
Now, if
yeah,
he's
break it
going for
down,
that,
yeah,
then that's different. Yeah, if you're just going for the message, you're trying to get pumped up because we need positive messages to help us out. It's like coaching also. It's almost like having a coach when you go to church service. But yeah, I can
no,
understand
I
if
think
it's that.
I think you put it the exact right way. You know, don't look at it more than motivational speaking, and also, if I'm going to leave it, I'm going to leave it with this: is pray like everything depends on God, and do everything like it depends on you, man. You know, like
Right.
honestly, there's good messages to be had in church. There really are.
Right.
There really are.